Welcome to the channel, and imagine this. What if a small, almost invisible minting error on a coin you might have walked past 100 times without a second glance was the single detail that transformed it into one of the most valuable pieces of currency ever to exist, a coin so rare that experts whisper about it in hushed tones, collectors dream about it in their sleep, and treasure hunters scour flea markets and estate sales for the faintest hope of finding it, because the 1971 Jefferson nickel is not just another 5-cent piece in American history, it's a mystery wrapped in steel gray luster, forged in the Denver Mint under circumstances that to this day fuel speculation, conspiracy theories, and near-mythical obsession. And to understand why, we must dive deep into the year 1971, a turbulent time for the United States when the economy was shifting, inflation was creeping, the Vietnam War was in full swing, and the minting process itself was undergoing technological transitions that opened the door to mistakes that, in some cases, became more valuable than flawless perfection, because somewhere within the countless millions of Jefferson nickels produced that year, a handful were born different, marked forever by anomalies so small and strange that even seasoned graders sometimes doubted their own eyes, whether it was an off-center strike that shifted Jefferson's stoic profile toward the edge, a double die reverse that made the Monticello lettering shimmer with ghostlike repetition, or a planchet mix-up that resulted in a nickel being struck on the wrong metal blank, lighter or heavier than standard, sending metal composition tests into confusion. And the most intriguing part is that some of these anomalies may not have been accidents at all, with whispers suggesting that mint employees, aware of the growing collector market for unusual coins, may have intentionally allowed certain flawed strikes to escape, creating a black market in the making within the hallowed walls of the mint. But the official records, silent, as if someone wanted these coins erased from history, yet they survived, slipping into circulation, ending up in pockets, change jars, and eventually, years or decades later, into the hands of astonished discoverers who would learn that their unassuming 1971 nickel could fetch staggering amounts at auction. And what drives the value higher isn't just the rarity, it's the mystery. Because numismatists are fueled not just by scarcity but by stories, and the 1971 nickel's story is a labyrinth of unanswered questions. How many exist? Were they all errors, or is there a hidden variety that no one has fully documented? Could there be an undiscovered die variety still hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize it? And then there are the legends, tales of a Denver Mint worker who supposedly smuggled out a batch of experimental strikes before they could be destroyed, of a sealed roll of flawless 1971 nickels found in a forgotten bank vault, each one exhibiting a microscopic die crack identical in location and size, pointing to a very limited run, and of the mysterious disappearance of certain archival mint documents from that year, as if someone wanted to permanently obscure the truth of what happened during production. And every time a new example surfaces, it reignites the fire, sending collectors into bidding wars where prices climb into the thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. And that's for the coins we know about. Imagine the ones still hidden in jars in attics, in coffee cans buried in basements, or unknowingly sitting in a coin-operated machine right now, their owners completely unaware of the fortune they hold. And this possibility has created a culture of obsession where people check every single 1971 nickel they come across, where coin shows buzz with speculation about unseen varieties, and where experts admit that the coin's full story might never be known because the minting records from that period are incomplete, the surviving dies are few, and metallurgical analysis on certain specimens has revealed baffling results, such as inconsistent alloy percentages that should have been impossible with the mint's strict production standards, leading some to theorize that these coins could be the result of a quiet experiment with alternative metals, perhaps for cost-saving or durability testing, which, if true, would make them prototypes, an entirely different class of rarity. And prototypes that entered circulation by accident or through human cunning are like dynamite in the numismatic world, exploding values beyond normal error premiums. But even without the prototype theory, the sheer thrill of the hunt drives collectors forward, because holding a 1971 Jefferson nickel with a confirmed major error in your hand is like holding a fragment of a bigger mystery, one that connects history, government secrecy, and the thrill of discovery. And each coin tells a slightly different story, some with sharp, well-preserved strikes that suggest they were pulled from circulation early, others worn smooth as if they passed through countless hands before anyone noticed their uniqueness. And yet every one of them, regardless of condition, carries the Weight of its origin story: a whisper from the Denver Mint floor in 1971 that something extraordinary happened, and while the public may never learn the complete truth, the possibility that the most valuable example could still be out there, unrecognized, in someone's loose change, ensures that the legend will never die, that people will keep searching, that every transaction with a nickel will carry the tiniest jolt of possibility, and perhaps that's the greatest treasure of all, not just the coin itself, but the chase, the idea that history might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to be the one to uncover it. And if you found this journey into the shadowy world of rare and mysterious coins as thrilling as I did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so we can keep exploring the secrets, surprises, and hidden fortunes the world of numismatics has to offer. Next, 1977, Jefferson nickels, and today you are about to step into a numismatic rabbit hole so deep, so full of twists, conspiracies, and heart-pounding discoveries that by the time you reach the end, you might never look at loose change the same way again, because what if I told you that a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change from 1977, a Jefferson nickel, could, because of one tiny, almost invisible mistake, become the most valuable coin ever struck in United States history, a coin so rare that even the most seasoned collectors speak about it in whispers, a coin whose backstory is tangled in a web of government oversight, hidden production anomalies, forgotten die experiments, and chance encounters that defy probability itself. And as we peel back the layers of this mystery, you will find yourself questioning how many of these extraordinary errors might still be hiding in plain sight, right under our noses, perhaps in your own coin jar at home, because the tale of the 1977 Jefferson nickel begins in an era when the U.S. Mint was undergoing a series of transitions in equipment, metal sourcing, and quality control, and 1977 was a year where production targets soared to meet the growing economic demands of a country wrestling with inflation and shifting monetary policy. Yet amidst this high-pressure environment, small cracks in the system emerged, cracks that allowed anomalies to slip through undetected, and in the case of the Jefferson nickel, rumors began circulating among insiders that certain batches struck that year bore minute but game-changing flaws, ranging from double-die obverse that caused Jefferson's portrait to appear eerily ghosted, to planchets intended for foreign contracts being mistakenly fed into presses, creating nickels of the wrong alloy and weight, coins that would feel just slightly off to the touch if you knew what to look for. And the deeper you dive into these accounts, the more the story starts to take on the air of a thriller, because in one documented case a collector at a small coin show in the late 1980s claimed to have purchased a 1977 nickel that rang like no other when tapped against another coin, later discovering it was struck on a silver planchet leftover from a past dime production, yet before the piece could be authenticated it mysteriously vanished, supposedly stolen during a break-in that was never solved, leading some to believe it was not just theft but a targeted recovery operation by someone who knew exactly what they were after. And this is where the legend starts spiraling into the realm of the unbelievable, with whispers of Mint employees in 1977 experimenting with altered designs, slightly different portraits of Jefferson, and even misplaced Mint marks, some of which may have been intentionally destroyed once higher-ups caught wind. But as history shows, the Mint's destruction of error coins was never perfect, and every so often a survivor would slip into circulation, igniting waves of excitement and frantic searching among the numismatic elite. And when you consider how few 1977 nickels have been documented with these strange traits, the possibility of owning one becomes not just a matter of luck but of obsession, the kind that keeps collectors awake at night, their minds replaying the moment they might have handled one without realizing. And experts have pored over the surviving records from the Denver and Philadelphia mints that year, finding odd discrepancies in reported output totals that could point to entire runs of experimental strikes being quietly written off the books, which in turn fuels speculation that some of these coins were spirited away before they could be melted, a theory bolstered by tales of retired mint workers who, late in life, hinted at having once pocketed something special that no one would ever believe. And when you tie this all together, you begin to see why the market value for a genuine, authenticated, extraordinary error 1977 Jefferson nickel could reach astronomical heights, with some estimates projecting into the millions depending on condition, provenance, and uniqueness. But the intrigue doesn't stop at the price tag, because for many, the true thrill lies in the hunt itself, and in recent years several shocking finds have rekindled the fever, such as a man in Ohio who stumbled across an off-center strike 1977 nickel while sorting through his late father's coin collection, or the urban Legend of a Florida fisherman who discovered a sealed roll of uncirculated nickels in the lining of a decades-old tackle box, allegedly containing multiple error coins, though he reportedly vanished before ever bringing them to auction, and while skeptics argue that many of these tales are embellishments or fabrications, the undeniable truth remains that the U.S. Mint has produced some of the world's most captivating mistakes, and the 1977 Jefferson nickel may just be the crown jewel of them all, a coin whose existence challenges our understanding of minting precision, historical record-keeping, and the sheer unpredictability of fate. So as we navigate through expert analyses, conflicting testimonies, and tantalizing fragments of evidence, you may find yourself gripped by the same gnawing thought that has haunted collectors for decades. Could one of these priceless anomalies still be sitting unnoticed in a handful of change somewhere, waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize it? And if so, what would you do if you found it? Would you sell it, hide it, or guard it like a secret family heirloom, knowing that in the shadowy world of rare coins, discovery is only the beginning and every answer raises more questions, every lead splinters into a dozen possibilities, and every possibility draws you deeper into a hunt where passion, history, and mystery collide in ways that keep the story of the 1977 Jefferson nickel alive, burning in the imaginations of those who dare to believe that the rarest treasures aren't locked in vaults, they're waiting, quietly, in the places we least expect. So if this journey into one of America's most enigmatic coin mysteries has left you as captivated as it has countless others, stay with us, because the chase is far from over and the next great discovery could be yours. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join the ranks of those who live for the thrill of the find, because you never know, you might just be holding history in your hand. Next 2015, P. Jefferson nickel USA coins today. And imagine for a moment holding a small, ordinary-looking piece of metal in your hand, one you might have tossed into a vending machine without a second thought, and then suddenly realizing that this very coin, this 2015 P. Jefferson nickel, could be worth a life-changing fortune, because what if a small, almost invisible mistake during its creation transformed it into one of the most valuable coins ever struck in the United States, a piece so rare and shrouded in mystery that collectors whisper about it like a legend, a coin whose story begins in the bustling halls of the Philadelphia Mint in 2015, where millions of nickels were produced under the watchful eyes of machines designed for precision, yet somehow, somewhere in that endless clinking rhythm of metal meeting die, something went wrong, something subtle yet extraordinary, a microscopic deviation in alignment, a faint doubling in the lettering, a rare composition anomaly, or perhaps an unrecorded change in planchet metal. And this mistake slipped past every inspector, every quality check, disappearing into circulation like an unnoticed ghost, where it lay in pockets, purses, and change jars for months or even years before anyone suspected its existence, and the stories of its discovery are as varied as they are thrilling. Some say a seasoned collector stumbled upon it by accident while hunting through bank rolls. Others insist a casual coin enthusiast spotted an odd shimmer in the mint mark under magnification and realized they were staring at a once-in-a-lifetime find. But here's where the mystery deepens, because the exact nature of the error remains debated even among experts, with theories ranging from a rare off-center strike so perfectly balanced it looks intentional, to a mule pairing with an obverse or reverse die from a completely different year, to an obscure die clash that left ghost-like impressions of Monticello where they should never be, and the speculation doesn't stop there. Some numismatists argue that a tiny batch of these coins was struck on leftover planchets from an earlier composition, perhaps copper-nickel alloys that weren't meant for circulation in 2015, creating a metallurgical fingerprint that is nearly impossible to replicate, while others believe that a batch was accidentally struck on planchets intended for foreign currency, making each piece not just a mint error but a historical anomaly born of bureaucratic oversight. And if that isn't enough to make your heart race, consider this. There are rumors that a small number of these error nickels were intentionally destroyed by the mint when the error was discovered internally, but a handful escaped destruction, slipping into the wild and igniting the hunt of a lifetime. And in the numismatic world, scarcity is everything, which means the combination of an extraordinary minting error, a confirmed tiny surviving population, and the perfect storm of secrecy has pushed the potential value of the 2015 P. Jefferson nickel into jaw-dropping territory, with some experts estimating that a pristine example in the right auction could shatter records, reaching into the 6 or even 7 figures. But the truly captivating part of this story isn't just the money, it's the obsession, because once collectors catch wind of a coin like this, it consumes them. They search through mountains of change, they visit banks daily, they trade tips and rumors in hushed online forums, and the chase becomes more than a hobby. It becomes a full-blown treasure hunt where every nickel could be the one, and yet the deeper you dig, the more the 2015 P. Jefferson nickel feels less like a mere coin and more like a riddle the mint never meant you to solve, a riddle whose clues are hidden in the tiniest imperfections, the faintest shifts in metal, the ghost of a misplaced date, and the shadows of a misaligned Monticello dome. And while some skeptics dismiss the stories as overblown hype, the cold hard fact is that extraordinary coins have emerged from ordinary years before. The famous 1913 Liberty Head nickel, the 1955 double die cent, the 2000 Sacagawea dollar mule with a state quarter obverse, all proof that lightning can and does strike in the minting process, and when it does, it leaves behind treasures that defy logic, and that's exactly why the legend of the 2015 P. Jefferson nickel refuses to fade, why every coin show buzzes with whispers of one being found, why every collector secretly dreams that the next time they sort through their change they'll spot that telltale sign, that barely perceptible anomaly that could catapult them into numismatic history, because this isn't just about owning a rare coin, it's about holding a piece of an unsolved mystery, a tangible artifact of a fleeting moment in minting history when human oversight and mechanical imperfection align to create something priceless. And as more time passes and more nickels from 2015 vanish into long-term collections, or are lost forever, the odds of finding one shrink, adding yet another layer of urgency to the search, because in the coin world, rarity and time are a dangerous combination. The rarer it is, the faster it's hoarded, the faster it's hoarded, the harder it is to find, and the harder it is to find, the higher the price climbs, and so the story spirals on, pulling in seasoned experts, hopeful beginners, and curious onlookers alike, all united by the tantalizing thought that somewhere, maybe in the next handful of change you get at a coffee shop, lies a small, unassuming 2015 P. Jefferson nickel that could change your life forever. And if you've been captivated by this journey into one of the most intriguing modern coin mysteries ever told, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching, because the next great discovery might be waiting in your pocket right now. Next 2002_D Jefferson nickels, where today we unravel a mystery so electrifying, so tangled in secrecy and legend, that it will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about rare coins, because what if a small, almost invisible mistake during the minting process transformed an ordinary 2002_D Jefferson nickel into one of the most valuable coins ever struck in the history of the United States, a coin so shrouded in controversy, whispers, and speculation that even veteran numismatists can't agree on the full truth, and yet, the deeper you dig into its story, the more you realize this isn't just about a piece of metal, it's about a chain of events that almost defies belief, beginning in the Denver Mint in 2002, a year most would consider unremarkable for Jefferson nickels, yet under the humming clatter of coining presses and the careful eyes of inspectors, something went very, very wrong, or perhaps, depending on who you ask, it went exactly according to a hidden plan, because that year, among the hundreds of millions of perfectly standard nickels produced, a microscopic handful emerged with errors so bizarre, so unlikely, that each one seems to defy the laws of probability, some displaying double dies where Jefferson's profile seems to ripple and split like a ghost image from another dimension, others showing off-center strikes so dramatic that parts of the inscriptions vanish into the rim while leaving eerie blank crescents of untouched metal, and then there are those with mismatched planchets, nickels struck on quarter stock, giving them a weight and ring that no ordinary nickel could ever have, raising the question, how could such an anomaly escape the watchful scrutiny of a modern, high-tech mint facility, unless there were cracks in the system, or perhaps, doors left ajar for those who knew exactly when and where to slip such oddities through, and it's here that the whispers grow louder, the theories wilder, with some collectors insisting that rogue mint employees, obsessed with creating modern rarities, deliberately allowed flawed coins to pass, while others claimed these were the result of a temporary machine malfunction that coincided with a high-priority production rush, creating a perfect storm of error before anyone realized what was happening. But no matter the origin, the impact was the same. A scattering of mutant nickels entered circulation, vanishing into pockets, cash drawers, and change jars across America, waiting for sharp-eyed treasure hunters to pluck them from obscurity, and when the first confirmed specimen appeared at auction, its value exploded beyond reason, with bidding wars breaking out as if it were a bar of gold, not a 5-cent piece, and the winning bid, tens of thousands of dollars, wasn't just about ownership, it was about bragging rights, about holding a physical piece of an unsolved puzzle. And soon stories began pouring in from all corners of the country, of gas station attendants who spotted odd rim patterns, of children who noticed that Monticello was misspelled or misaligned, of elderly collectors who, after decades of combing through rolls, suddenly realized that one coin in their collection felt off in the hand, heavier, sharper, wrong in the right way, and every one of these finds added another layer to the mythology, because no one knew exactly how many existed, if they had all been discovered, or if there were still a few lurking unnoticed in coffee cans and glove compartments, and as the legend grew, so did the paranoia, rumors of government agents tracking certain high-profile sales, whispers that the mint had quietly bought back and destroyed some examples to stem the frenzy, and then came the bombshell, an unverified but persistent story about a sealed bag of 2002 D nickels found in a storage locker, every one of them bearing the same dramatic off-center strike, yet the bag vanished before anyone credible could verify it, feeding conspiracy theories about private hoards and cover-ups, while experts debated whether these errors were the result of a single catastrophic shift during production or scattered freak accidents over weeks or months. And here's where the mystery becomes irresistible, because the Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938 and normally a workhorse of American pocket change, was never meant to carry such a burden of secrecy, yet this year, this mint mark, this tiny window in history, somehow birthed coins that seem to taunt the very idea of predictability, and for the collectors who have handled them, the sensation is always described the same way, a strange mix of awe and disbelief, as if the coin is aware of its own significance, and the more you think about it, the more the questions pile up. How many hands have touched one of these without realizing its worth? How many times has a legendary error nickel been used to pay for a coffee, dropped into a vending machine, or slipped between couch cushions, waiting silently for the day it's discovered? And what if, as some believe, there's one example out there that eclipses them all, a perfect storm of multiple errors, a double die on a wrong planchet with a severe off-center strike, worth not just tens of thousands but potentially hundreds of thousands or even millions, because in a numismatic world, the right coin at the right time can ignite a frenzy unlike anything else. And the 2002 D. Jefferson nickel is not just a coin, it's a modern treasure hunt, a riddle stamped in metal, and maybe, just maybe, as you listen to this story, you'll start looking at your change differently, feeling that subtle thrill of possibility every time a nickel lands in your palm, because somewhere out there, hidden in plain sight, could be the one coin that changes everything, the one that turns a moment of casual curiosity into the discovery of a lifetime, and when that happens, the line between myth and reality will blur forever, so keep your eyes sharp, your mind open, and your heart ready for the rush, because the next 2002 D. Jefferson nickel you encounter might not just be worth 5 cents, it might be the key to unlocking one of the greatest coin mysteries in American history. And if you've enjoyed diving into this whirlwind of intrigue, history, and high-stakes treasure hunting, make sure you like, subscribe, and join us next time for another journey into the world where small mistakes can lead to unimaginable fortune. Next, 1963 Jefferson nickels, where today we step into a world of intrigue, obsession, and jaw-dropping mystery to explore a coin so shrouded in legend that even the most seasoned collectors whisper its name with reverence, the 1963 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that, in certain rare and extraordinary cases, has been catapulted into the realm of numismatic immortality by minting errors so bizarre, so unlikely, and so deeply entangled in history that they challenge everything we think we know about how coins are made, distributed, and valued. And I want you to ask yourself right now, what if a single microscopic flaw, invisible to the naked eye, could transform a coin worth pocket change into an artifact worth a fortune, a piece so valuable it could pay off your house, send your kids to college, and still leave you with enough to live your dream life? Because that's exactly the kind of jaw-dropping transformation we're talking about here, and the story of how this happened begins not in a collector's showcase, but deep within the high-security, fast-paced, and often secretive world of the United States Mint in the early 1960s, a period when America was standing at the edge of profound cultural and political change, when the Cold War was escalating, when the space race was heating up, and when something as small as a nickel could unexpectedly become a silent witness to both history and human error. For in 1963, the mint was under pressure to produce vast quantities of coins to keep pace with an economy surging in post-war prosperity, and in that environment, precision was everything, but perfection was impossible, and it is in the sliver-thin gap between the two where legends are born, because the 1963 Jefferson nickel that would go on to be worth thousands, even millions, didn't just slip through unnoticed. It was almost designed by fate to hide its secret until the right person, at the right time, with the right obsession, discovered it, and those secrets include double dies that make the inscriptions dance like a ghost image in certain light, off-center strikes that leave Jefferson's portrait hauntingly incomplete, planchet flaws where the metal was improperly mixed, creating strange textures and tones, and even the incredibly rare full steps on Monticello that, when perfectly struck, become a grail for collectors. Yet what makes this story almost unbelievable is the series of anomalies so unique to the 1963 minting year that experts still can't fully agree on whether they were pure accident, the result of outdated equipment, or, as some conspiracy-minded collectors argue, a deliberate inside job to create rarity in an otherwise common coin. And here's where the mystery deepens. Archival records from that year show inconsistencies in production reports, unexplained gaps in die replacement logs, and even rumors of experimental metal compositions being tested, and while the mint has never officially confirmed any of these whispers, the patterns in surviving specimens tell their own story, one of inconsistency, haste, and perhaps even cover-up, because how else do you explain the discovery of a handful of 1963 Jefferson nickels struck on leftover silver planchets intended for other denominations, a blunder so glaring it should have been impossible in a tightly controlled operation, yet somehow, these coins escaped into circulation, where they disappeared for decades, quietly passing from hand to hand until sharp-eyed hobbyists spotted them, triggering bidding wars so intense that prices soared to unimaginable heights, and every time one of these era nickels comes to light, the numismatic world trembles, because the possibility of finding another keeps the hunt alive, with treasure seekers scouring old jars, dusty attics, and estate sales in hopes of unearthing the next miracle coin. And what's truly intoxicating about the 1963 Jefferson nickels legend is that it has become more than just a coin. It's a symbol of chance, of how the smallest imperfection can change destiny, a reminder that history isn't only written in books but in metal, struck in fleeting moments by machines that, for all their precision, are still subject to human fallibility, and just when you think the story has reached its peak, another twist emerges. Like the tale of a collector in the Midwest who purchased a bulk lot of nickels at face value only to discover, under magnification, a variety so rare that experts initially refused to authenticate it for fear of being fooled, until metallurgical testing proved beyond doubt that it was a genuine mint creation with a composition anomaly never before recorded, instantly making it a one-of-a-kind treasure that no price guide could define. And then there's the chilling case of the so-called phantom die strikes, where faint outlines of foreign coins appear ghosted into the surface of some 1963 nickels, a phenomenon some attribute to die clash accidents while others suspect a more exotic origin, possibly linked to secret testing of multi-denomination striking in a period when the mint was quietly modernizing its equipment. And the more you peel back the layers of this story, the clearer it becomes that the 1963 Jefferson nickel is not just a collectible, it's a time capsule of mystery, industrial drama, and tantalizing what-ifs. And every expert I've spoken to agrees on one thing: there are likely still undiscovered specimens out there, sitting unnoticed in coffee cans, hidden in old cash registers, or clinging to life in circulation, each one holding the power to ignite another wave of fascination, debate, and fortune. And that's why the hunt never ends, why collectors pore over every coin with magnifying glasses and microscopes, why auction houses prepare for bidding wars like generals for battle, and why the 1963 Jefferson nickel will forever be one of the most captivating enigmas in numismatic history, because as long as there are mysteries like this, there will be dreamers chasing them, hoping that the next coin they flip over will be the one, the miracle, the life-changer, the proof that sometimes, in the smallest corners of our world, the most extraordinary stories are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the curiosity to see them and the courage to believe. So keep looking, keep questioning, and keep your eyes open, because the next incredible discovery could be in your pocket right now. And when it comes to the 1963 Jefferson nickel, the line between the ordinary and the priceless has never been so razor-thin, so charged with possibility, and so ready to reward the daring.